as the world is watching on TV, on social media. We're hearing the testimonies of doctors, family members, survivors, kids who've lost their parents. The world is witnessing this, the killing of women and children, of babies. This has to stop.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau giving Israel a lecture. Did it really work? Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist with the Toronto Sun, joined by fellow columnist Warren Kinsella. Warren, that speech, that lecture to Israel has been seen as something that will unleash more anti-Semitism in Canada, something that was more for domestic consumption than international, because nobody's paying attention to Trudeau. How shocked were you when you saw him come out with such strong words for Israel, and then a nice little, oh, and Hamas, if you could stop, messing around with human shields for civilians?
I was surprised because just a few days before in Quebec, in the French language, he condemned pretty unequivocally acts of anti-Semitism that had taken place in Canada, shooting up Jewish schools, firebombing synagogues. So I think I mentioned to you, I was kind of encouraged by that. This latest statement that he has made is pretty unprecedented because it's united everybody in Israel, both the government led by Benjamin Netanyahu and the opposition leader condemned what he said. And here in Canada, the Jewish community who feels like they are down and are being kicked were even further despondent. And it didn't work with the other side either. The pro-Hamas types surrounded him at that restaurant in Vancouver and chanted him out of the building. So it didn't work.
And there was just the day before, he was being harassed by a guy who was yelling at him that Hamas is not a terrorist group. Why are you calling them a terrorist group? One of the things that I think happened, and we've seen Jagmeet Singh's comments now, Singh just going after Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And you don't have to like Netanyahu, but why now are you calling him an extremist and dangerous for democracy? I mean, Singh is the guy who's literally banned in India because they consider him too close to terrorism. And he has played footsies with the Khalistani movement, the extremist parts of it before. So it's odd for him to be lecturing an elected prime minister as being dangerous for democracy.
And I personally don't give a damn what Jagmeet Singh has to say, or Marit Stiles in Ontario, or any of the NDP leaders, because the epicenter of anti-Semitism in Canada at the present time, if you're looking for a political party that is the source of a lot of the parlor room anti-Semitism that's taking place, is the New Democratic Party, which, by the way, is one party federally and provincially. So Jagmeet Singh can't say, oh, I'm not wild about Sarah Jama, who has made all sorts of despicable comments and anti-Semitic remarks. He campaigned for her in Hamilton Centre.
Yeah, and so she's been kicked out of the Ontario NDP caucus now, but you've got the Hamilton Centre NDP Riding Association, Kitchener Centre NDP Riding Association. Hundreds of people in the party have signed a letter saying no, she should be reinstated. Matthew Green, who is an MP who sits with Jagmeet Singh in the House of Commons, he gave a speech denouncing that she was kicked out and making some odd comments. By the way, a speech right in front of two guys dressed the way the Hamas fighters do, with the bandanas and the balaclavas covering their face and all the colors. And he's talking about peace and ceasefire in front of two guys dressed like they're going out with rocket, launchers.
Well, one of them actually started apparently negotiating on behalf of Hamas and said, well, you release our political prisoners in Israel and we'll release your hostages in Gaza. Yeah. And that happened in Canada.
For the hostages. If you want your hostages back, You will have your hostages back only if you return all our political prisoners. Only the 11,000 political prisoners.
That's something that should not be happening in Canada. And the NDP, to your point, has got a big and significant problem with anti-Semitism. And, you know, I was always hesitant to say that because it's a serious accusation to make. And it's one that it's hard to erase once it's made, but it is true. The New Democratic Party has a problem with anti-Semitism, and it needs to deal with it because the stench of Sarah Jama and people like that is going to be following it around for many years to come, long after the war is over, and it's going to cost them seats.
Now, as far as Trudeau's comments, and then the next day Singh makes his comments, do you think that that Trudeau's statements just kind of opened the floodgates and he basically said, all right, everyone, have at it?
I don't, because I don't think anybody listens to him anymore. I don't think anybody gives a damn what he has to say, and the polls support that. You know, vast majority of Canadians want to see him gone. So, to me, that's an argument in favor of him keeping the position that he had after October 7th. After October 7th, he was very clear. He said Israel has a right to defend itself and Hamas needs to be eliminated. Well, since then, it's just been this slow deterioration of that view to the point where he's now giving lectures to Israel like we're some kind of military power. We're not. Like we're some kind of strategic power. We're not. Like, Justin, I think the message that all of us have got, whatever side you're on in this issue, we don't care what you think. And, it's time for you to go.
All right, we'll put it to the audience. Let us know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.